Welcome back to The Change Physician. I am Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro, off the West Coast. That was a good rhyme. Host Coast.
Yeah, I should. On the West Coast. That's right.
Here's my host from the West Coast. There we go. We've been trying to find a little something to go with your name. Kevin Cuccaro, how are you today?
I am well.
Wonderful.
I'm checking to see. Are we streaming yet, though?
Yeah, we should be. Oh. Yeah. It says live on, are you on the Change Physician?
Okay. Well, I was on my personal page, and for whatever reason, it has decided that it didn't want to
share it there.
Yeah. So that's cool. Thanks, Facebook. You're awesome as always.
That's why you can't just rely. If you have a business out there, don't rely on one social media outlet.
Yeah. It's like ridiculous.
We appreciate the outlets, but sometimes one of them might go down or have issues, or you may not like it anymore. Well, let me just let people know who's listening. If you're listening on the Challenge Doctor page, that is because I cross-posted it from the Change Physician. If you don't know what the Change Physician is all about, you can go to thechangephysician.com, learn about us or as hosts and also the community. And whether you're a physician or a physician ally, feel free to join there. We give updates from time to time. We've been meaning to do monthly emails, but from time to time, we'll give little emails or announcements of special things. So make sure to be on that list. And in the Saturday Salutations, it's not just for Kevin and I to say hi and give us a time to meet.
Oh, that's exactly what it's for. Come on.
Okay, it's just about us. Okay. But we like to share what's going on in the podcast. And of course, you'll also notice on Instagram, if you go to the Change or at the Change Physician there are posts or trailers at times, which are also found on YouTube in a video format, but you can see on Instagram kind of some recent episodes or re-releases, which is usually our Thursday throwbacks. But we like to share what's been going on in the podcast on our Saturday Salutations. And this past week, let's see, we're at the 29th. So this past Sunday was released Dr. Corey Fawcett, nothing other than our returning guest, who has many different topics because he has many different books. And one of them was The Doctor's Guide to Smart Career Alternatives and Retirement. Make sure to check out that episode and any other episodes that he was involved. Just go to any of your podcast venues. If you want to just listen to the audio, you can go there and look up Corey Fawcett. That's without any Cory, Corey Fawcett, and find the other episodes. And then we brought back Dr. Rip Patel, ER physician that went locums as a locum physician on our Thursday throwback this past Thursday. And so that was from way back on episode 69. I think that was in 2021.
Early 2021.
Yeah, early. And so that was what's happened this past week. Any comments, Kevin?
No, other than I was thinking about that because with Corey's episode, we barely touched anything in that book. We touched like the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like all this other stuff. I was like, oh, we need to get to it. We got all over the place. I mean, we were on the book, but there's a lot of information in that particular book, which I am actually looking at right now.
Yeah.
So, it was fun.
You have it in front of you?
I do.
Why don't you just show to the audience? There you go. And it's a similar format. He has other doctor's guides that we've talked about. And here's another one, Eliminating Debt. And there's a lot of, whether you're a physician or not, there's a lot of really good information on topics that are relevant to any human being trying to survive in this world, especially in America. I could probably go for anywhere, but obviously there's a lot of things relevant to this country that he's talking about. Any other comments, Kevin, or anything recent or positive? Or
this was a big week, man, and all sorts of stuff. So I'll start with number one. If we're going to do I don't know if this is a favorite thing, but I saw in another one of my email lists that I'm on, this guy, he used to have a really, really cool business conference. They only did it twice in Denver, and it was the best one I've ever been to. And then they stopped. And I'm not exactly sure why, but anyway, I'm on his email list, and one of the things we're talking about breathing, and I'm kind of like, and breathing is something I think is important. I've taught like little things on how to use diaphragmatic breathing for stress, but there's this device for basically increase your vital capacity, and it's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I looked at it and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I bought it. And this is called the Power Breathe. This is the Power Breathe Plus. And what it basically is you inhale, and it has this little valve on it, and you can dial it to increase or really increase the work of breathing. And it really forces you to do heavy diaphragmatic breaths. And they have like some papers published on it where, you know, you do 30 breaths twice a day with it, and it increases your capacity. And so a lot of endurance athletes are using it. And, you know, I'm like, okay, well, I might as well try it. So I got this one. I would, if I could go back in time, I would get the advanced. I'm like, I'm not like a huge endurance athlete or not, but I found the start on this one too easy. So I'm already dialing it. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. If you haven't done a lot of diaphragmatic breathing, I could see where it'd be a little bit more challenging. But anything that you can do to increase your health in a fun way for me is like, why not do it? It's like $50.
Gamify.
Yeah, it's a like $50 thing. And then I had something I wanted to talk about last couple of weeks, but this is like me being total scarcity and like freaking out. And like, I can't talk about this because I don't want to lose a chance. So in 2024, April 24th or April 8th, 2024, there is going to be another total eclipse in the United States. It'll be close to you, actually. Dallas
April 8th?
April 8th, Monday, April 8th.
Birthday's the 9th.
Yeah, well, you're going to be timing it perfectly. So because it's April 8th, Monday, April 8th is 2024. The swath through North America actually is going to hit through Texas, and like Dallas is going to be sort of in the epicenter or whatever, and then it's going to go up. But the primo location to watch this is in Mazatlan, Mexico, which is almost in the heart of the totality. It's supposed to last about 4 minutes. So as soon as I saw that, because we had the totality here in Oregon in I can't remember what years, 2017, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, the last time we had a total eclipse. And I mean, I grew up and we had those eclipses. I remember being in elementary school and they're like, eclipse was coming, blah, blah, blah. And it was a partial eclipse. And it's like, okay, yay, you know, you see the little crest and everything, but it wasn't that cool. And I was like, okay, it's an eclipse. I've seen it. My wife's like, no, this is going to be a big deal. And as usual, my wife is right about everything because holy crap, it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I remember just like almost losing it, like just being giddy, like just screaming. And I mean, it was seriously amazing. And I remember thinking at that moment in time, I have to see this again before I die.
Wow.
So I learned about this stuff and I'm like, oh God, it's in Mazatlan. Okay, let's see. I'm like, is there any Marriott's, right? Because my whole Marriott thing, there's one Marriott.
Oh.
You can't book more than 50 weeks in advance. So I've been literally stalking the stupid hotel for weeks.
Wow.
Because I'm like, someone's, you know, I'm assuming there's other people like me and I'm waiting. The day it freaking opened, I just went crazy and I just booked these rooms.
Wow. And
now I have my totality ready for me. So I am like super excited for this. We're going to do 5 nights in Mazatlan, and the hotel looks beautiful, and I'm like so looking forward to seeing that. So that was one. And the other one was I lost a good friend this year. Earlier in the year, it was really really hard time. It still is not exactly easy. But his wife, who's also a good friend, we had talked shortly after he passed, and she had wanted to go to Alaska. And so at that point I was like, well, all right, we're going to go to Alaska. So we decided to do an Alaska cruise, and we have a little teeny group getting together for that. And we have booked our cabins on Monday. So now we have our trip in June of 2024 to Alaska, which I'm super excited about. And again, we did that whole episode on vacations, right? Yeah. And there's some people like, oh, I'm never going to do a cruise. I hate cruises. Yeah. I'm like, you've never been on a cruise, because there are 65,000 different types of cruises. Yeah. You know, I have not been on those mega ships of 5,000 plus with like water slides and stuff. That doesn't seem like something I would like. I don't know, because I've never done it. But having done a grand total of 1 on a smaller ship in Holland America, which is kind of a smaller, more classic sort of cruising experience, again, I was not excited to do it. And my wife said we had to do it because we were living in San Diego and there was a terminal there. Right. And it was amazing. Like one of the most relaxing vacations I've ever been on. So I am so looking forward to this. And then I also remember when I was really little, my grandmother, who had traveled a lot for somebody in that kind of day and age. It's like, you know, we've been all over, blah, blah. She goes, my favorite thing that we have ever done was she and my grandfather did an Alaska cruise. So Yeah. Anyway, so I'm super, super stoked for that. Like, talk about a brain that like works out in the future. These are like in 2024 through June of 2024. I'm gonna have travel already planned and ready. Yeah.
It gets you jazzed.
I am so jazzed. I have like all sorts of, I got so many things coming up now. It's hard to be jazzed all of at once. Cause like next weekend I won't be here for Saturday Salutations because I'm going to go take wing foiling lessons in Southern Oregon.
What kind of lessons?
Wing foiling. Did we talk about this?
No.
All right. So I need hobbies, right? We lose hobbies in our medical careers, and my kids are transitioning out of the house. And so we're going to be an empty nester as of this fall. And I'm like, I need an activity to do. I liked water sports. I used to be a whitewater kayaker. I used to, fish and all that other stuff. I don't know. It's harder here in Oregon because access to rivers, there's much more private land than when I grew up in Nevada, which is tons and tons of federal land. But I'd always been interested in kiteboarding. In fact, 20 plus years ago, I took a couple lessons and, lost it because I had 2-year-olds and 1-year-olds and residency and all that stuff. So there was no chance to really continue it. I'm like, well, maybe I'll start doing kiteboarding and I'll learn kiteboarding. And as I was looking into it last fall, there's this new sport and it's called wing foiling. So they basically taken like these inflatable kites and made them so you can hold them with your hands. Like they're these big inflatable booms and stuff. And you use the small board like a kite board, except they've now put a foil on it and like a hydrofoil. So it lifts. And they're putting these foils on all sorts of stuff, like stand-up paddle boards and surfboards and everything. But this wing, you get on these boards and then you use the wind and you use the, you get enough momentum that you can get on foil. And once you're hydrofoiling, the friction goes way down. It's supposed to be like gliding over nothing. And it looks super, super cool. You can see videos. Like I would go to YouTube and just Google wing foiling, and it looks so cool. Obviously harder than it looks, probably. I'm expecting it to be difficult, but man, I'm like, it's going to be cool. And my kids are going with me, so that'll be really fun. Both of my kids. My wife is working that weekend, but I was like, hey, you guys want to go? My daughter's finishing AP testing next week, and she's like, yeah, I'll go. And my son's going to go. And so we're all going to go stay at a bed and breakfast and take wing foiling lessons. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it's been a big week for like plans and stuff.
Yeah. That's just, it invigorated you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing you showed earlier was that breathing thing. I was like, okay, 2 anesthesiologists. Yes, breathing is very important. And then I thought incentive spirometer, and then I'm like, this is like on steroids. Kind of spirometer.
Yeah, it's on steroids. Have you done an incentive spirometer? They're really easy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know. I've dialed this thing down, and I could probably go another setting, but you can feel it working, and it's kind of
as long as the resistance isn't so much, you basically get negative pressure pulmonary edema. I guess that's fine.
Yeah. That would be really hard to do. That would be really, really hard to do.
Force yourself to have that.
Well, negative pressure pulmonary edema, you have to have the lung capacity and the strength to do it. And only usually young males can do it. But it's pretty, and you don't want to pant. You want to make sure it's slow and steady or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see. I'll tell you what happens in another 30 days from now. If I can feel like I take super, super breaths and stuff. But
super breath, Kevin.
Super breath. Yeah, that's right. Hold my breath for awesome. 10 minutes. But anyway.
Trying to think of anything I can add to any of it. I think the puppy is like a new part of our life. So I think he's almost 12 pounds now. He keeps growing. So who knows if all this small breed stuff will keep him small. But he's only 4.5 months. So, there is 2% Portuguese water dog, which is not
that's not a small
dog. Yeah. No. So we'll see how much he gets. It's really confusing because if you look at growth charts versus like comparing them versus like if it's a small breed, large breed, or where they're at this time frame or their age, it can vary. So with the multi-breed, it's hard to know, is he going to be fully grown by 6 to 9 months or 9 to 12 months? Because if it's 9 to 12 months, he's gonna be a lot bigger than we expected, but probably close to 30, 35 pounds, but we're hoping closer to 20, 25. But anyway, we'll take him however he ends up. We won't send him back. Let's see what else is going on. that people even care about. Well, I guess we talk about stuff no one's going to care about anyway.
Yeah, who cares? As long as we care about it, right?
That's all that matters. But
everybody cares about it, nobody cares about it.
But we'd love to hear what you care about, and you can let us know, and we can talk about what you care about.
That's right.
Yeah, and then I was looking up that location. Is it reliable, like their predictions of the whole eclipse thing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, the eclipse is going to be there no matter what. Like the thing that's unreliable is the weather. So you want someplace that is in the path of the totality, and then that has a pretty good chance of not having cloud cover. So they ranked. You can look it up. Like there's all these people, because people go crazy over these things. And after having been in a totality, I can understand completely why you go crazy over these things. And they'll plot out like the really, really cool place to be, to me, I think would be on a cruise ship. So they actually have some cruises. There's 2 cruises I know of that are going to be down and go through, and they can kind of sail along the totality line. They were super expensive, and they're like 2 weeks long. They were going out to Panama and stuff. I couldn't make the time work for those. But yeah. So anyway, you want to go someplace where the weather's good. So hopefully there's no storms. I think that was one of the things they said about Dallas is it's a little bit more hit or miss. And I don't know, you can look at these things and they'll kind of tell you. But if you get a chance, folks, like seriously, you want to see a totality. If you've never seen a totality, you've never seen an eclipse. It's incredible. Like there's like a 10-degree difference. Like all of a sudden the world gets cold. There's the land starts like to shimmer. They even these things, I can't remember, call them like something snakes or something. Like you look at the ground and it's like modeling. It is it was insane. Like I get just chills thinking about it. It was so amazing. Wow.
So it just goes dark?
Yeah, it goes dark. It's like
black.
Not pitch black, but pretty damn dark.
Pretty close, yeah.
And it's cold. Like that was the weird thing. Is all of a sudden it's like
the contribution cold from the sun is amazing.
Like, yeah, you just don't realize how much of that heat you're normally getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. So
wow. Super. And I just looked where that Mazatlan, you said it's like west coast of Mexico. Yeah.
So it's
a little northwest of Guadalajara.
Yeah, north and further north of Puerto Vallarta. And I've been there twice. I went there, in high school when we graduated. We went there. It's okay. I mean, I'm not a huge like beach dude to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't really care because I'm going to see the totality. So that's really the big thing I'm looking for. And there's some surfing north of there too. So
yeah. Where do you usually fly into?
In Mazatlan? There's only one airport I know of. The International Mazatlan something. Oh, they have one there. Yeah, there's an airport at Mazatlan. Okay. And you just fly directly in and you do it. The best place to be like Durango, Mexico or something. There's a small area. It's more inland. But I don't know any Marriotts there. Yeah. So I can't. What do you consider? I mean, anywhere there's humans, there's always potential danger. But what do you consider when you look at Mexico, when you see it, what do you feel like is don't go there? Like which areas would you say? Non-touristy areas. Well, so the area that those people got nabbed in near the Texas border. Yeah. That's a bad place, apparently. The most of the major touristy areas, I mean, I've never felt unsafe ever. They just recently had a resort that was well, and they had another resort a couple of years ago too. But in general, like, okay, what are we comparing this to? Like, I would love to see the actual numbers of American tourists in a resort area compared to the United States. Yeah. Because I don't know what their safety is in some of our not even major metropolitan, wherever you are in the United States now is getting ridiculous. Yeah. But there, any place that they're really talking about like excessive gun violence, then I would probably steer away from it. But I've been to Mazatlan. We've been to Puerto Vallarta. We're actually going to be in Puerto Vallarta again because my cousins do a trip every year. Not my wife's cousins, and they always invite us, and I go because I like to see them. They're really cool in-laws.
Uh-huh.
Never felt unsafe there. Never felt safe. And we went one time, actually, we were kind of walking around Cabo a little bit. This was on our only cruise. We kind of went down there. Cabo was fine. That was probably one of the more anglicized areas I've ever been. Yeah, we've been to the Yucatan and Playa before it was overdeveloped. We've been to Merida, Valladolid, if I'm getting the pronunciation right. Wow. And I've never felt unsafe when we're in Mexico. But we also aren't dumb, and we don't go to crazy places, and we're not like where they're gunning, having massive whatever. So I think it gets a little overblown, like everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And my brother's in Mexico right now. At like I guess it's in, I don't know how you pronounce that. Oaxaca? Oh my God, that's horrible.
I'm not even going to try. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Xaca kind of thing.
Let me pull it. How do you say
Oaxaca?
Oaxaca. Let's see what it says.
It's not ayahuasca. We know that. So
no, let's see here. How to pronounce. Here we go.
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Oh, come on.
Oaxaca. That sounds right.
Oaxaca. Aren't you're part Mexican, aren't you?
Yeah. My mom is Mexican. Her first language was Spanish. My second language was Spanish. I would say I'm partially fluent.
But you don't know how to say Oaxaca?
No, because it's just never really been something I've had to say. I probably said it in my Spanish class, like in middle school, but I don't remember. It wasn't a critical part. Like, yo puedo hablar español. I can sound like I speak Spanish fluently just because I've lived around it. My brother's completely fluent.
Is he older or younger than you?
Younger.
Oh, okay.
But he was sent, what was the Rotary Club? He won like a year in Ecuador. He got to go be immersed in Spanish.
That's the way to do it.
Ecuador. And then he went, I don't know how long he was there, in Argentina. So my brother's done some international traveling down to South America.
Yeah.
And he's been to Mexico quite a bit. We've actually talked about getting, a residency status for Mexico. Yeah. For him, me, and my mother, because of my grandfather.
Yeah.
We have his birth certificate. So, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And Billy and Acacia live in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and which city was that again?
They're Lake Chapala, which I think is near, it's near Mexico City. An hour outside. I think
so. Wait, I'm pulling it up. Lago de Chapala. There it is. Near Guadalajara. That's not too far.
I love Guadalajara. I just like to say it. Guadalajara.
It's a cool name. Yeah.
It is.
Let me see how far. Actually, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So let's see exactly. You're going to, how do you say, what's the place you're going? Mazatlan? Mazatlan.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's actually, I don't know, Lake Chapala. That's Jalisco. And that says it is why won't it show me? Well, I was trying to see how far you actually be from them.
Oh, from me? It's not close.
Yeah. It looks like 5 hours or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's closer to Puerto Vallarta, and we'll be there, but it's still not
how
close.
Big Mexico is.
Yeah, it is not. Yeah.
I mean, it's like bigger, almost, it depends how you squish probably bigger than Texas or close to Texas. I'd say
Mexico is bigger than Texas.
It definitely is bigger. I'm looking at the shape. Let's see. How much bigger, everyone's just watching us figure this out, is Mexico than Texas? Well, that depends what century you're in. Oh, wow. 2.9 times bigger than Texas.
Yeah, Mexico is not small.
Yeah. Well, small. Texas used to not be Texas. So
Mexico was a lot bigger when it had Texas.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. All right. Well, I think people have heard enough of us today. You want to take us out?
sure. Well, thank you all for joining us on today's Saturday Salutations. If you have any travel plans or places that you've been or experiences, let us know in the comments. And until next time, stay well.
Take care.